I dislike pay-to-win mechanics. I've made a whole video on this before. I dislike knowing anyone can pay real money for an in-game advantage. To me, one of the great elements of the video game world, especially the MMO world, is how it places everyone onto an equal starting point, and your power, reputation, and progression through the game is based off your time and skill in the game, and nothing else. Doesn't matter if you're wealthy or not in the real world. This is the game world, and you succeed on your in-game merits. It is the great equalizer. And because of that, in this video, I'm going to argue in favour of pay-to-win. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. I'm Josh Hayes, and what I've just said might sound a little bit strange, so allow me to explain. Pay-to-win is the idea that you can spend extra money in a game beyond the money you originally spent to purchase it to buy yourself in-game advantages. More money, more power, more items, more energy to play the game for longer. There are normally ways that you can achieve all of these premium things through playing the game itself, but that's normally a long and arduous process. You don't need to pay to win, but it is a huge advantage if you do pay. Now, there's usually a correlation. More money means more power. The more you pay, the bigger advantage you get, which turns the game away from an in-game competition of skill and more toward a wallet versus wallet competition of real-world wealth. And I do indeed dislike this system. I feel it's unfair. I feel that games are a great place to get away from the wealth inequality of reality, and when you bring in the whole pay-to-win aspect, you just make it the richest person in the real world wins in the game as well. But I also believe it's a fantastic skill and it's a fantastic training idea to take a stance that you personally disagree with and then in good faith argue in favour of it. It helps you maintain a more balanced view of the entire world. Nothing is ever as simple as it seems, nothing's ever black and white. So, with that, I'm going to acknowledge the merits of an argument I disagree with and present, in good faith, three lessons, three standards, three specific arguments that I believe will paint pay-to-win in a positive system. This is the benefits of pay-to-win. Before we begin, consider dropping a like on the video or subscribing to the channel for more MMO stuff. Ring the bell so you get all the future notifications, and a massive thank you to all the supporters on Patreon and Twitch who keep the channel going. More on how you can support at the end. For now, let's begin. It's important to note that pay to win doesn't mean paying is the only way to win. Many games widely regarded as pay to win do provide some way for non-paying players to access the same content or gain the same items. You can earn in-game premium currency, unlock members-only areas, or find rare items just through the virtue of playing the game longer. So pay to win doesn't mean required to pay. It doesn't mean it's the only way to advance through the game. It's not actually been that way for a while in the game design area. We could better describe it as pay for advantage or pay for convenience, because paying essentially helps you use your time more efficiently. It boosts the small time you have, and this is the first important element of the first argument in favour of the pay to win mechanic. The balance of real-life work value versus in-game time value. If the game has a method of allowing you to access any premium currency or premium content entirely within the game, such as earning Zen in Neverwinter by converting astral diamonds you earn through dungeons, or earning mounts in Runes of Magic by completing the daily Pyrrhus quests, or gaining membership within RuneScape by buying the bonds with in-game gold, then the game is actually giving you the ability to play the entire game for free, and if you enjoy the gameplay, this should be a fantastic feature for you. If you actively enjoy your time in the game, if it makes you happy, then the prospect of being able to unlock the game by playing it more should be a positive thing for you. If you're a fan of the game, then the ability to enjoy all of it through enjoying it is unlikely to bother you. But if a game sells you anything, a level boost, an item, a class, but it also gives you the option to earn it in-game, that's great. But then you need to balance out how much it costs against how long it would take you to earn in the game, and then factor in the average amount of money you could earn using that in-game time in the real world, because your time has value, and if you're choosing to grind an item out, you're often undervaluing your own time. Look at it like this. If an item exists in the cash shop and it costs £10, or you could earn it in roughly 10 hours of grind, The game is giving you a choice. Either pay £10 or spend 10 hours. The choice is yours and you can choose what suits your lifestyle best. If you do spend the money, the item is now yours and you've decided that your time is more valuable to you than your money. But if you spend the 10 hours getting it, you're actively saying that 10 hours of my time is worth a £10 item. You're valuing your own time at £1 an hour. World of Warcraft sells the Blizzard token, which can be sold on the auction house for gold, then the gold exchanged for items or equipment, or you can earn gold through playing the game. You can actively make the choice of the way you want to advance your character, spending your time or spending your money. Some people have more time, some people have more money. The game is giving you the choice. RuneScape sells the bonds, which can be sold to players on the market board or auction house or grand exchange, and then you can buy some of the best items in the game. Neverwinter sells Zen, which converts to Astral Diamonds. Most major MMORPGs give you the choice of advancing with time or money. Now remember, most MMORPG players are focused on efficiency, the shortest amount of time to do something, finding a way to maximize the reward for the minimum amount of effort. And when you look at it like that, if you want anything in the game efficiently, it can often serve you better, time-wise, to work any job, even at minimum wage, and then simply buy the item or the power you want in the game. You would spend a lot less time doing that. If something did cost you £10 and you can earn £10 in an hour, then that item is worth 1 hour of your time. Why would you choose to spend 10 hours in-game trying to get it and then complain when other people spend an hour of their work wages on it? If you actively choose to spend the hours grinding for an item, that's absolutely fine. That's your choice. You can play the game, but when you could have just bought the item and saved all that time, you have to ask yourself, are you playing in the way that you actually want to play? Are you spending your time as efficiently as you could be? The item is available for either time or money, and you get to actively choose what you spend to get it. So having the option to earn in-game items is great for people with excess free time, and having the ability to buy them is great for people with less time and more money. And this links to the second point, the fact that people's lives change. You can sometimes have less and less free time. Your job becomes more demanding. You start a family, move away from home, and you gain more responsibilities. Your gaming time reduces. A partner, a child, another hobby. More parts of your life now need more of your time, but your love and passion for the MMO doesn't decrease. But now you discover when you log on to play with your guilds or clan or friendship group, you're miles behind everyone else. They've got better items or stats or mounts, and you're falling so far behind you can't do the latest content with them. People would say just grind the game, but playing the game more to grind out the levels isn't an option. You simply don't have the time. But thankfully, you can spend a bit extra and boost to join them. Level boosts, experience boosts, basic raiding, armor sets, mounts, all of it in the cash shop. It's not a perfect solution, I get that. But with players demanding more and more content and more stuff to do, eventually you are going to fall behind unless you can dedicate hours every day to keeping up with your friends and guild. And look at it this way. If I've got 5 hours free in a day or a week, I want to spend that time playing with this one here. Are you going to tell me that I need to stop playing with my dog in order to spend all of my free time catching up with an MMORPG? Are you going to say pay to win is bad when it's the only system that allows me to spend my time with the things and the people and the animals that I value, and then allows me to simply pay a bit of extra cash and catch up with all my guilds and all my friends? Are you going to look into his eyes and tell him that I can't play with him anymore? No more walks, no more playtime, because I've got to spend all my free time keeping up with an MMORPG? Because paying to win, paying to catch up is bad? Are you going to tell him that? If you are, you're a monster. Right, good. That's the emotional manipulation segment done. You can go back downstairs now. If you're going to tell someone that they shouldn't play an MMO just because they can't afford to dedicate excessive amounts of time to it, and how if they can't keep up with the endgame through pure effort they don't deserve to experience the game, then please step back and assess your attitude toward other people's hobbies. You wouldn't tell someone not to play an instrument just because they can't dedicate 5 hours a week to learning it, and you wouldn't then hold any ill will to them if they paid an instructor for an intensive 1-week course to help them catch up for a concert. You wouldn't tell someone to stop training in a martial art if they couldn't train 4 or 5 times a week, and you wouldn't say they're any less of a martial artist if they then went to an intense hardcore weekend to catch up on some missed katas, even if it did cost a little extra. Another person's hobbies and the level they achieve in them are of no concern of yours, and if that person pays a little extra for a boost in that hobby to reach a certain level because they've been falling behind, they're often doing that to catch up with friends. And there's nothing wrong with that. Buying a spray paint can to help you undercoat a Warhammer army instead of painting everything by hand. Buying some better Magic the Gathering cards instead of just waiting to get them from drafting. Buying a better mouse with more buttons on the side to make the MMO you play a bit easier to keymap. They're all just examples of how spending a little bit of money can sometimes help you catch up with people who have had more free time. So the first 2 main points are how items both in a cash shop and earnable in-game have both a time and a money cost, and you can choose which one you want to pay, choosing the one most worthwhile to you, and then how paying to advance can be a lifeline to people with busy lives who still want to enjoy an even playing field with friends, allowing them to condense the tens, or in most cases hundreds of hours of grind required to get to that level into a much shorter amount of time suited to their lifestyle. But the third element of pay to win is probably the most overlooked: your actual support of the game you love as a customer and as a fan. Because pay-to-win games are often free to play for everyone, and they can only remain free if someone pays. I've had no end of people tell me that they've played a game for 1 year, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, however many years, and they've not paid a penny. They've managed to get everything for free. They haven't supported the game at all. They've beaten competitive players. They've beaten pay-to-win players. They have managed to gather all the power they need in the game through the virtue of just playing the game. And that sounds impressive, but let's spin that a different way, shall we? You have enjoyed a piece of art, a piece of media, a video game, for X amount of years, and you have not in any way supported its development or its continued life cycle. You are not supporting the art that you enjoy financially. And that's not something to boast about. You're going to say, oh, but I've played the game for hours. Doesn't matter. It's irrelevant. You playing the game for hours doesn't keep the lights on, doesn't pay the bills, doesn't pay the developers to make more of the game. If you are proud of the fact you have not paid any money and yet you have enjoyed the game, then you are leeching their work. Imagine you owned a business, let's say a local gaming shop, and you see all the standard things: Warhammer, Magic the Gathering, Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh! You have some weekly tournaments in various things and some events. You've got a decent customer base. Now imagine there's a large group of people who come into the shop and never ever spend anything ever. They love the shop and the atmosphere, they adore being here, it's their absolute favourite shop, it's their favourite place to be, but they refuse to spend any money ever. Sometimes they even win tournaments, and you give them prizes, some models, some magic cards, maybe a can of drink from the fridge, and they love the free stuff, but they will not ever spend money. And they boast about this. They are proud of this. As a business owner, these are the customers you do not want. They don't support your shop, they don't support your business, and while they're happy to enjoy what you've built, they're not happy to continue supporting its continued development. They'll take what they can and give nothing back. These people are dedicated free players in a free game, and they can only enjoy the fantastic elements of a free game because some customers do pay. Some customers do support. We mentioned earlier how games sometimes give you the option of unlocking premium items with money or with in-game time. Well, the fact the game allows you to unlock items using time at all is a kindness the developers have extended to you. Your time in the game doesn't actively support the developers or the company. People don't look at you and go, oh, this person spent 6 hours. They are a valued customer if you've spent nothing. And yet they still give you that option. If something is given to you for free, then you can decide how much it's worth to you. And if you decide it's worth nothing, then that's your choice. But if the game shuts down, you have only yourself to blame. And the only reason you are able to make that choice is because someone else has decided it's worth something. Pay to win is a system that allows you to enjoy some fantastic games completely for free because other people cover your cost. So, let's quickly recap the benefits of pay-to-win systems. 1. If the item can be earned through both gameplay or directly purchased, the game is actually giving you the choice of what you'd rather spend, time or money, and you make the final choice. The power is in your hands. 2. Catch-up mechanics. Boosts, item sets, campaign completion tokens, or temporary power boosters allow people with busy lives to catch up with friends or guilds and play at the same level, instead of being forced to abandon a hobby they love just because they can't put the hours in. And 3. A few paying players actually allow the rest of the player base to enjoy it for free. It allows the majority of players to enjoy the game without paying anything because a few players support the game they love to a level they can afford. Pay to win, pay for advantage, pay for convenience. You may recoil at hearing those phrases, but remember, the reality is much more nuanced than that. It allows people to achieve things in the game with the resource they value the least. They can spend either time or money. The choice is in the player's hands. It allows people with less free time or more responsibilities to still keep up and to still enjoy the end game with their friends, their family, their guild. It allows them to see the best part of the game even if they can't dedicate hundreds of hours to it. And it allows the game to remain free for everyone to play because of the contribution of the small few. Writing this script was interesting because very few things in this world are as simple as they seem, and the argument of pay to win is very complex. What do you think of pay to win systems? Do you despise them and think that in-game power should be earned exclusively through in-game effort? Or do they provide player choice and allow people with busy lives to still enjoy the game's higher power levels while remaining free to play for all? Let me know in the comments below. Another big thank you to all my supporters on Patreon and Twitch who keep the channel going. You can support the Patreon from just £1 a month. Check the video description for links to the Patreon, Twitch, Twitter, and our Discord, and as always, have a great day.